Thanks to listener Peter Franz for making this comment in our reply section yesterday. I wonder if the evil spirit Yahweh sent to torment Saul was the God Saul had worshipped all along. Well, I find that as a fascinating possibility. In fact, let's just test drive this out. We'll be talking more about the concept of demons in Psalm 106 when we get there in about a half a month. But let's think through again what happened. It says in 1 Samuel 14:35 that Saul made a sacrifice to Yahweh, and it was his, quote, first one, which implies in 13:9 that when he made a sacrifice, it must not have been to Yahweh. And then we hear in chapters 16, 18, and 19 that an evil spirit, let's do it this way. I had said an evil spirit came from Yahweh and tormented Saul. It was Ra, or evil, or bad, and that the effect of the spirit caused him trouble. Well, the reason Peter's thought makes sense is because, several things. Number one, why are there no exorcisms in the Old Testament? I say that because in reading like a good Bible dictionary, when you pick up the article or look at the article on exorcism, if you find one, this is the first two sentences of the article on exorcism in the Baker Illustrated Bible Dictionary. The act of expelling demons from afflicted persons, places, and objects. There is no record of exorcism in the Old Testament. In the New Testament, ... Well, why not? It makes sense to me, in following through on what Peter is thinking about, that demons are simply doing their job in the Old Testament. Well, again, what is a demon? It's an Elohim who comes down and bothers people. We have no exorcisms in the Old Testament, frankly, and we'll get to this because Jesus hasn't come. But when Jesus comes, watch this whole story of God's doing their work on a person to be completely upset because of who Jesus is and what he does. Secondly, this idea of coming from Yahweh. Could God have sent the same God, as it were, that Saul was worshiping to Saul? We're going to have this concept, it's in Acts 7, Romans 1, of God, quote, giving people up. He gave them up. And in these contexts, also in Ezekiel 20, it's the idea of, and here comes this idea again of why no exorcisms. When Saul worshipped a god, that god formed a covenant, as it were, a relationship with Saul. We are told repeatedly, again we'll get to these in later prophets, that when you do this it will be, quote, a snare to you. Well, the snare in this trial run, the snare that Saul had was the very God he worshipped. It was as though God said, you want to worship that God? Go right ahead. I guarantee it will have a raw effect upon you. Thirdly, and this is something we'll get to in Psalm 106, which we read in about half a month from now, the idea of demon possession. In the New Testament, we've heard of this phrase, demon possession. The problem is that's an English way of saying something that is not in Greek. That word possession sounds very passive, as though the demon does something to you. In Greek, it's just the word demonized, and it has the active idea that when a demon bothers someone, it's because that person, in their heart and in their mind, they actively want that God to be a part of their life. It's an active idea, not a passive one. So thank you again, Peter, for your comment. This just reminds me to remind you that we do read those comments. We thank you for them, and if you have any questions, we'll certainly take a moment and respond to them as we can.